Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Powerbang here, and I'm bringing you a long overdue video on how to position your double giant bombs to effectively defend against Hawk Rider attacks. Now, this is probably the most common question that I get asked on my channel, is how to position those double giant bombs so they trigger both simultaneously instead of one at a time. So pay very, very close attention during this video. I'm going to build a quick example segment of a base, show you how to position your buildings around your double giant bomb set to make sure that those double giant bombs go off both at the same time and turn whatever hogs hit that position into bacon. So stay tuned. Let's step into the base building portion of it, and I'll break down exactly why the defense buildings act the way they do and why the hogs path the way they do, and you can start incorporating that into some of your base design. So here's the base that we just kind of speed built, and this is for examples only. Do not copy this base. I put zero thought into it with the exception of the double giant bomb. So let's focus on the double giant bomb position and the defense building surrounding that position. So first off, we want to look at the general shape of the defense buildings around that double giant bomb set. It looks about like this, and you're going to see something similar on most double giant bomb sets. You're going to have a pair or one entry building, such as the wizard tower and the cannon up there in the front. You're going to have one or two flanking defense buildings, such as the cannon on the left and the archer tower on the right, and then the Teslas are there to kind of help get the hogs pathed closer to the actual double giant bomb set buildings, such as the air defense and the expo. All double giant bomb sets typically have a shape similar to this, and the reason for that is to create pathing so that the hogs follow these defense buildings and enter at the long side of the double giant bomb, so they trigger simultaneously and kill whatever pack of hogs happens to be heading across that position. What you do not want is the hogs to be able to move into the base by heading straight at the short side of a double giant bomb set. Now you see here that we replaced the storages there in that first compartment behind the cannon with a mortar, and that mortar now is going to lead, it's going to basically open up a path for the hogs to go straight at the double giant bomb, and that mortar is now closer to the expo than the mortar is close to the archer tower on the right. So the hogs are going to go at least split off here and get one of those triggered at a time, and that's what we don't want. Now, I talked a little bit about the short side of a giant bomb versus the long side of a giant bomb. What do I mean by that? This is kind of my illustration here. The red side of both of this double giant bombs here, that is the short side. As you can see, it's a 2x4 space. The two tile side of this is the short side. You do not want the hogs approaching your double giant bombs from the red arrow. That is a no-no. That will trigger that bomb set as they hop over the wall. It will trigger it one at a time, and if there's a heal spell waiting on those hogs, this is not going to be a threat to them, and it may as well not even be there. What you do want to have happen is your hogs to approach from the long side of the giant bomb. So the bluish-green arrow, you want those hogs to be able to path from the expo across that position to the air defense or vice versa. That will trigger both of those bombs simultaneously, and you will then make some bacon. That's what we all want when we're defending our base. So how do we make this happen? Let's break it down into some steps. Step one is to basically make sure that the red segment here, let's go segment one, the defense building distance is going to be shorter. Your flanking buildings, such as the archer tower and the cannon there on the left, that distance needs to be shorter than the distance it is from the front of your entry defense buildings to the front of your double giant bomb position. That will basically make sure that your hogs will path to the side when they enter the base on one of those buildings. That is step one. Next, you're going to want to look at the distance there. Again, segment one here, we're looking at the red lines. We want to make sure that those distances are shorter than any other defense building that's further off the flank. We want to make sure that those hogs follow the defenses and go in towards that giant bomb segment. So you want to make sure that the distance there to each defense is basically a tighter distance as you lead into the double giant bomb and a longer distance as you lead away from the giant bomb. That will keep those hogs on track to blow up. So step three is once they're at the expo and the air defense, you want them to then path across. Now remember, you're going to be standing on the far side of these defenses, and you want to make sure that the distance between the far side of the double giant bomb defense to the near side of the next double giant bomb defense, you want to make sure that that is a shorter distance than any other building that is neighboring this double giant bomb position. Now, in this particular example, it looks as though the air sweepers might be a problem here. So what are we going to do? Let's go ahead and correct that by moving them a little bit further back. And now that we've done that, we've increased the distance to those air sweepers, and those hogs will now path across that position. So that is how you set up your double giant bomb. You want to make sure that there's a good buffer area in front of the double giant bomb position so that the hogs path to the side and do not approach it from the short side of the bomb. Once that happens, you want to make sure that all of the breadcrumbs of defense buildings that you've left up lead into the defense buildings that are neighboring the double giant bomb set, and that there are no defense buildings in the area closer than the defense building on the other side of the double giant bomb. If you do these things, you're going to make bacon more often than not when hogs attack your base. And let's go ahead and take a look at some examples of some improperly placed double giant bombs and some properly placed ones, and we'll see how those can affect you. So in this example, we're going to take a look at a raid by Drew on this defender here. Let's go ahead and draw the double giant bomb positions and also the Tesla positions. We'll start with the Teslas here. The Teslas, the only ones that matter anyways, the ones I'm going to put down are the ones bordering these double giant bomb positions. So those two positions are Teslas, and the giant bombs we will mark just like that. So let's go ahead and analyze this based on the information we just learned and see if these are good positions. Now, first off, this position up here is very, very close to the edge of the base. It's not, really too far into the core. That's an easy trigger if you choose to bring a kill squad entry from that side. This side down here is a little bit deeper and therefore better, but it is right next to the queen, and you know that most kill squads are going to be going in towards that queen from, at some place in the base. So that's something that you definitely have to keep in mind when choosing a spot to place your double giant bombs. So let's just go ahead and track the defenses here. Cogs are going to enter, say, over on this side from these points here, and we can just trace the nearest buildings, and this side kind of leads you away from the double giant bomb set. This side you would kind of path into the mortar and then around to the air defense. So at most here, you're only going to trigger one of those bombs at a time. The idea, I think he was thinking, was to have them cross across to this wizard tower, but there's quite simply too much space there, 3 tiles to be exact, between the defense buildings here, and you got to realize that the hogs are standing on the other side there, so it's more like 5 tiles that they have to travel in order to cross that bomb set, rather than just going 2 tiles over to this side. And now you're going to path in over here and miss the whole thing entirely. So that first spot is not effective at all. Now on the next spot, you'll notice that he does not have that buffer area in front of his bomb. He has the defense buildings here bordering it, but he has no buffer area in front. And as a matter of fact, he has breadcrumbs here. If you go from the cannon to the mortar to the archer tower to the Tesla to the wizard tower, then you're only going to trigger one of those bombs at a time and thus render them ineffective. So let's go ahead, take a look at this raid in action. I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward it. He is going to enter the base from the top right side in order to take out a couple potential double giant bomb positions, and let's go ahead and look at the pathing just of regular troops around this double giant bomb. Opens up the wall. The golems here would be a really good indicator of where those hogs would go, and notice they barely trigger with their fat butts just one of the bombs, so that is ineffective at that point. Let's go ahead and watch the end portion of this raid. We'll fast forward. Now pay attention to the hog pathing here. Watch how they're being led straight into this double giant bomb position. Notice those 2 hogs on the right. They go to the Tesla. The other hogs from the right kind of group up. They go over to this wizard tower. And, it's just a few hogs here, but notice they go there and only one of those giant bombs gets triggered. That basically renders it ineffective, and now the remainder of his hogs can kind of come into this position. And, had this been a double giant bomb set still, poof, they'd be gone. But instead, The raid is successful, and Drew is going to go on to 3-star this base. Let's take a look at another example. Alright, so let's take a look at this raid by Faust the Boss. Double giant bombs and Teslas in this particular base of relevance. Let's go ahead and get those marked down. The first Tesla that's going to matter is going to be right in this area here. And then the double giant bombs in this base are here and here. So let's go ahead and analyze those positions and see if those are going to be effective. Now let's start by pointing out that the queen is centralized in this base, and basically entry from any direction can get to her successfully, and the only one that's going to be really difficult is from this direction here, from the northeast. But every other direction can go through double giant bomb positions if they exist to get that queen, because she's so centralized. So, looking at the double giant bomb positions, they're vulnerable to that already. But as far as the pathing is concerned, these are both orientated the incorrect way, so that when you approach these, you're always going to be coming from the short side of the bomb. So, if you come from this side with hogs, it paths you, here, maybe even away, because these are pretty close as well. So, you're actually, instead of getting to the mortar here, which has a chance to trigger one bomb, your hogs are pathing away from that position if they go to that side. And if you're coming from this side, they could go to this archer tower, and then they're not going to cross to that mortar because the distance is simply too great. There's a chance that they could go from this cannon here to this archer tower and then to the wizard tower, and if that happens, either when the hogs hop to the wizard tower or when they go from the wizard tower to the mortar tower, they're going to trigger one of those bombs. Just one. The other one is not going to be triggered. Also, if they go from here to here, they're going to miss those bombs entirely and continue to path around like so. So this position is pretty much worthless. On the other side, you're going to have a Tesla that's bordering this position, and the same thing is going to happen. You take out this building here, take out this building here. Where do the hogs go? Say if they're standing at this point, where are they going to go? Well, they're going to go to this Tesla, and they're going to go to this wizard tower. Either direction that they go, they're going to trigger one of those bombs at a time, and the other one is going to stay alive. With the heal spell down there, pre-healed, that is not going to do much to your group of hogs. So let's go ahead and watch this raid and see exactly what's going to happen. So he chooses to make an entry here from the bottom left side of the base. Let's watch the behavior of the golems, because they are defense targeting units, and they will mimic that the behavior of hogs. So here they go. They're going to go over the wall, just like the hogs would. They trigger one bomb, and then move on to the next defenses here. So ineffective double giant bomb set. Now, fast forwarding towards the end of this raid to the hog entry portion of it, let's check out the way the hogs path here. They take down the archer tower, and they trigger one bomb at a time for each group on that's standing on each side. So the bombs are simply out of range of his hogs that happen to be standing at one defense or the other. So again, ineffective, and Faust will continue on to 3-star this base. Now, we got a couple more examples for you. Let's sit tight and look at some different things to see what's successful and what is not successful. Now, in this base, this is actually one of our bases, and there is a small problem in this base. For the most part, if we look at the double giant bomb positions, I'll go ahead and mark them for you. You're going to find one set up here and one set over on this side. For the most part, those look okay. If we look at the shape of the defense buildings around those positions, it looks kind of similar to what we spoke about during the setup process. The same thing on the other side, just like that. So as you can see, there's a buffer area in each side here, and that is going to basically force the hogs to go path to the side of each double giant bomb set. So the pathing would look something like this, and on the other side, something like that. So that is kind of, what we're looking at ideally. And then on the other side of the base, the pathing will look something like this, and then other side of that set will look like that. So that is what he's trying to do here. Now the problem in this base, if we look at this side, it all looks pretty good. The buffer area is wide enough for those hogs to path accordingly. But if we look at the other side of the base here, let's zoom in, we notice that the archer tower right here, this is one tile. I mean, it's very, very subtle, but this wall piece here, it's one tile further back than this wizard tower, which means the back side of it is one tile closer to this air defense. Now, this is going to play a factor in this raid. Had this archer tower been a little bit further out, it may have ended differently. Now, remember what we talked about, the distances between where your hogs are going to be standing. Now, if the hogs enter from this point and they come to this wizard tower and say they're standing right here, we need to make sure that the distance between the next building here is going to be closer than going all the way to the expo. In this particular scenario, that looks pretty good. Well, now we got to look at if the hogs are standing at this point here on the back side of this this archer tower, about right here, is the distance between that to this nearest point here on this this air defense, is that going to be shorter or longer than this distance to the nearest point on this archer tower? Now, in this particular example, that's almost an equilateral triangle. That is too close to call. Segment 1 here is roughly the same as segment 2. And in this particular scenario, you've got a chance for a hog split here. And the hogs are basically going to take one of two routes. When they approach this this archer tower from the left, they're either going to go to this air defense or to this archer tower. If you kick this out one space and those hogs are standing here now, that is a longer distance now between here. So, that one tile does make a big difference, and we're going to see that in this raid. So let's go ahead and watch what happens here in this raid on J-Coop's space. So the first set, I believe it gets taken out with the kill squad here. They're going to head in. We're just watching it in 4X. Nothing super special or fancy about it, but you'll notice the golems and whatnot. They head across, trigger it just like the hogs would, and they triggered it both at the same time. So effective job here. But now let's pay attention to these hogs. The heal spell goes down. He knows the double giant bomb's there, but watch that archer tower. Hog split. That one hog that goes off triggers one of those bombs. Now instead, watch what would have happened. Had those hogs gone in, they path to that air sweeper, and then boom, he would have had a double trigger. So move that that building out just a little bit, and you're going to see a lot more success. Now, we've looked at 3 bases where the bombs were kind of improperly set up. Let's look at one where they are set up correctly and see what the result of that is. All right, so now we have J-Coops on the attacking side of an attack here, going at their number 24, and I'll go ahead and again mark the double giant bomb positions. We've got one set there, and we've got one set here. Now let's look at the position of the neighboring defense buildings and see if they make a good setup. So we've got the initial entry building on this side, we've got the flanking buildings here, we've got the actual double giant bomb set buildings here, and then we've got the path across. So that side looks pretty good, as long as a Tesla doesn't pop here. And even if it does, the hogs should still be on the front side of that building and not necessarily on the inner side of that building. A good rule of thumb, guys, is your flanking buildings, as long as they're outside and wider than your double giant bomb buildings, you should be good to go. So that side looks pretty good. Let's look at the other side. We've got the same entry building. We've got one building there rather than 2, like I showed in my example. You've got to the side, you've got your flanking defense buildings, and then you've got your actual double giant bomb set buildings, and then the path across. So both sides look pretty well set up. Let's go ahead and see how they function. So click play here. Again, we'll fast forward. Normal entry. And again, he gets a great jump spell down here, great push. Let's go ahead and watch the first path here and see if those golems are going to go ahead and take off to the right spot. I think quite obviously they will. So they go across, trigger one set, beautiful job, and in come the hogs now. He's running a surgical attack, so it's it's not quite betting all the whole farm, and you're going to find out in this particular raid that it's a good thing that he doesn't. He drops the heal spell, preempting the bomb position. His hogs group up, take out those defense buildings, and they trigger both bombs at the same time. Absolutely no chance left for those hogs, and they do get destroyed when the bomb triggers simultaneously. Now, Jacobs does go on to 3-star this raid, but you can see the effectiveness of the double giant bomb. Was able to claim 10 to 12 of his hogs, and had it been a traditional hog style attack, all of those bombs would have been nuked, and this raid would have been over. Alright guys, so in conclusion, we've talked a lot about double giant bombs, we've talked about the buildings that surround them. Let's go ahead and wrap up and kind of go over the highlights of what we've talked about, and hopefully some of this stuff sticks while you're trying to design your own base. So the first thing that you need to remember, defense buildings need to be bordering your double giant bomb set, and you need to orientate it in a fashion so that the hogs are trying to come from the long side of the bombs. That means this direction, not this direction. Once that's done, make sure that you put it in the base that's not going to be easily accessed while trying to kill your archer queens. So put your bombs away from your queen if at all possible. That way they don't get pre-triggered by golems, and then they're useless for the hogs that are going to follow into your base. Make sure that the area in front of your double giant bomb set, make sure there's an adequate buffer area. You do not want defense buildings there that are going to leave breadcrumbs for any hogs that are going to come to the entry buildings first and then head in towards the short side of that bomb set. You want the defenses that are flanking the entry buildings here to be closer than the defense buildings that are bordering your double giant bomb. So as long as you kind of leave breadcrumbs that are shorter to the flanks there and then all the way into those buildings, they will path across that bomb. And then you want to make sure that the buildings that are kind of flanking your flanking defense buildings, these buildings back here, they are farther away than the buildings that are bordering that double giant bomb set. So when the hogs path in, they curl back, and then they go across the double giant bomb set and evaporate, as you saw in the last raid. So hopefully, guys, this has been helpful. Been a long time coming on this one. This is one of my most popular questions that I get asked with regards to base design. Hopefully you guys have learned something. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the video. For now, this is Powerbang. Stay tuned for next time. I will be bringing you some more instructional guides that should help you a lot in your base defense and your attacking. This has helped you out. Make sure to send me your clanmates and show them the video, because they will pick something up, guaranteed. So thanks, guys. For now, Powerbang, signing out till next time.
Thanks so much, guys, for checking out my video. If you feel like you learned something here today and you're a better attacker for having watched it, your clanmates will probably feel the exact same way. So do me a favor, share this video with them, get them to the channel, and chances are your clan's going to be exploding for 3 stars from top to bottom before you know it. Thanks, and we'll catch you next time.